Super Lucky Disaster Man. Chapter 2, A Strange Place to Reunite. Fire is joyfully dancing. I lie on the ground, on my body are wounds that I had pierced myself using a dagger. Everyone have returned with extinguishing bullets, threw it toward the room without hesitation. The poison that I mixed in with the extinguishing bullets rapidly spread due to the high heat. But I know, the only one who die will be the me that's lying here. My vision is blurry as I stared at the sharp spearhead hanging above the crossbar, and stopped breathing. Ho! Komaeda Nagito suddenly woke up from the dream, as if to compensate for the lack of air before. His breathing was rushed and sharp. After a long while did his heart calm down. It's a dream. Strictly speaking, that actually can be considered as Komaeda Nagito's memory. He had died once, facing another world's memories, just like in a dream, stopping at that instant of death. Although he had died, according to Komaeda Nagito's speculation, the next development should be his hand letting go of the rope because of his death, leading to the sharp spear handing above falling down on his body, forming a seemingly cause of death wound. Like that, a suicide disguised as a murder scene was completed. Komaeda Nagito originally wanted to use his own death to design a plan, but he did not think that he had arrived in a different world upon opening his eyes again. It was yesterday evening that he woke up in another version of himself in this world. He is different from the one who goes to a common high school in this world. In the original world, he is a Private Hope's Peak High School student. Private Hope's Peak Academy enjoys government privilege, cultivating society's top talent special school. Every year elites from various fields are admitted from the junior high school graduates in the whole country. As long as they can get into the Private Hope's Peak Academy main campus admission qualification, life is already half successful. Although there are dependent primary schools and junior high schools, but Private Hope's Peak Academy is core focus in the high school department. There are two conditions for the high school department admission. 1. Current high school student. 2. Be the very best at what you do. Elites in various fields, after admission will be awarded corresponding titles, such as Ultimate Detective, Ultimate Programmer, and so on. They are all of the country's hope. However, there is a special seat each time. One student from the list of high schools will be selected to enroll. This is basically touching luck, of course. Even if successfully enrolling, the only one who can achieve it is Ultimate Lucky Student, this kind of title that makes people with real talent somewhat looked down upon. Komaeda Nagito is the Private Hope's Peak student of the 77th World Ultimate Lucky Student. Normally speaking, each time Ultimate Lucky Student is essentially still an ordinary person. They just come across great luck once in the enrollment quota. After that they fade into the crowd, not worth paying attention to. But Komaeda Nagito is different. In the Private Hope's Peak Student Committee discussion, an incident happens. The committee members expressed doubt to the headmaster. Luck is actually a probability problem, it should not become a special case. The headmaster didn't even mention Komaeda Nagito's name, instead said, the previous one. Unable to refute committee members. Finally the committee members cannot help but hit their own face, kept quiet and complained a bit but didn't say anything any further. Komaeda Nagito with his own strength, in less than a year time, turns those who thought, luck is bullshit, no research value, this kind of idea by Academy the committee members, to change complexion upon hearing any topic related to Komaeda, even Komaeda Nagito, this name quickly turned into a taboo. Therefore it can be seen, Komaeda Nagito's luck has indeed broken through common sense, but even if it is towards this self-conscious Komaeda Nagito himself, he did not think that by using his own death, it can even surpass his imagination, and reborn him to another world. When he arrived in this world, his mind was still immersed in that feeling of death. What happened he did not remember clearly. In short, with great difficulty after waking up, Komaeda Nagito reluctantly recalled this world's own memories, borrowing someone else's phone to call the police, busy all night before returning to his own home. Today is the third day he came to this world. It is enough for him to digest memories of two worlds. Komaeda Nagito got out of bed after instinctively looked at the bookshelf opposite the bed. If there is any dissatisfaction he had towards this world, then one was that this world did not have Hope's Peak students, the other was Sigh, this world's literature is really barren. As a person very fond of reading, a person who read through a very wide genre, this world's literature confused Komaeda Nagito. According to this world's own memory, literary figures that he is familiar with are no more than half. Not mentioning that they have not existed, even those that remain such as Natsumi Soseki and some others, he felt like there was something wrong. Komaeda Nagito, as a never felt this was a problem, native ordinary student, did not pay any attention to this. If he could not find any clue from the memory, he would put this problem aside temporarily, planning to wait until tomorrow when going to school, aiming to go to the library to look for information. Speaking of which, he had been a Hope's Peak High student for 2 years, he died once but had to return to middle school 3rd year. Komaeda Nagito cursed while organizing all the informations, while changing clothes and preparing to go out. No other way, although he can cook, but the house was ransacked by the kidnappers, including the refrigerator. He don't know what the kidnappers were thinking. Did they think he would put cash in the refrigerator? Ha 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 ha, if it was true, that was really a bright idea. In short, the food that was in the refrigerator before, he had thrown it out when he was tidying up the room yesterday. Anyway, he had to leave Yokohama tonight, and go to Tokyo's apartment. There was no need to buy any food. If there was a need like now, just go out to eat. Walking up the street, Komaeda Nagito casually looked around the storefronts, wandering aimlessly to find a pleasing store to go in to solve his hungry problem. Just as he received a flyer from a girl, a strange sound suddenly came from afar. The giggling girl's face immediately darkened. It's starting again. Mafia huh? Komaeda Nagito sighed. This world's Yokohama is really not peaceful. Last year there was already a big event, gangsters were everywhere in the street fighting to the death. Because he understands his own situation, Komaeda Nagito stayed in Tokyo and did not return, but even so his house was a casualty. Fortunately he bought insurance. The strange thing is, the incident in Yokohama was very large, yet Komaeda Nagito in Tokyo feels very peaceful. The news is probably blocked by the government. If one does not pay attention to Yokohama then one would not know what had happened. But actually a 1-year junior of his called Kudo Senichi, seems to have guessed something, and came to him to learn of Yokohama news, seemingly to really feel interested in the situation in Yokohama. After roughly hearing about the situation, Kudo Jr. was really angry and expressed, Yokohama violence group is too arrogant. Therefore, in contrast to last year, no ordinary people dared to walk outside even in daytime. It is much better this year. Just now is only one gunshot rang out. If it was last year then multiple gunshots would have fired one after the other. Thinking carefully, it might be because of the previous year's battle that exhausted all the group's strength. Then there is the Port Mafia, took the opportunity to occupy the Yokohama underworld boss position in one fell swoop, and began to collect and clean up other gangster groups. Under the Port Mafia's rule, Yokohama became much more harmonious. At least now everyone dared to go to town, and business activities were becoming more frequent. Regretfully, the kind of thing just now still did not disappear. The Port Mafia had yet to steady their top position yet in Yokohama underworld, and it was normal to have conflicts. The little sister was also very used to this sudden situation, although because the gunshots seemed to be not far away, her complexion was not very good, but she did not panic or lose her composure, and instead calmly asked Komaeda Nagito, "Want to come to our store to hide?" Komaeda Nagito very cheerfully agreed, "Really kind-hearted, you are even willing to care for me, this kind of person." The little sister. The way this child speaks is a bit strange. Forget it, first hiding in the shop is more important. Their location is very close to the shop. The little sister brought Komaeda past 2 shops and they've already arrived. This is a noodle shop. The chef is cooking in the half-open kitchen. Regular customers can directly sit in front of the long table in front of the chef. Komaeda Nagito as a new guest chooses a corner, chooses a recommended dish, then immediately stays in the shop to wait. During waiting, Komaeda Nagito has been observing outside, not a moment when he discovers that everyone's walking speed is obviously increasing, some even starts to run. Looks like the battlefield is approaching this direction. Komaeda Nagito was very experienced in this kind of situation, and had a premonition. Next, he afraid. Hello. The little sister's voice interrupted Komaeda Nagito's thoughts. He smiled and said thanks, then slowly started eating the bowl of noodles. No matter what, eat first. Because of the memory fusion causing a headache, he did not eat well yesterday. If he still is not eating again today, he will hurt his stomach. Moreover, even if something was to happen, it was just that his luck was a bit better than others. He did not have any ability to stop it, right? Komaeda Nagito's hunch was correct. He did not eat much when several burly men dressed in black suits entered the shop. In a flash, the entire shop was as silent as a graveyard. A man in black looked at the tool in his hand, suddenly pointed towards a person. It's him. Catch him. Don't think that you can escape by changing your appearance. The person that was being chased by the black suits man, if he did not surrender before, of course there is no way he obediently waited to be caught now. Immediately gunshots rang out in this small shop. The black suit man immediately wanted to curse. You actually shoot in this kind of small space, are you not afraid of being hit by stray bullets? Without a doubt, the shop immediately became a mess. Some people did not have time to care that there were similar black suit men guarding outside, directly jumping out the window to escape. That person that seemed to be very good at disguise also took the opportunity to continue to escape. After a long while, the shop finally quieted down. Komaeda Nagito looked at the black-clothed man who was using a gun to point at himself, sighed, "You got the wrong person." The black-clothed man was very confident and sneered, "Although you changed your appearance again, even throwing away your coat, unfortunately our tracking device is not placed on the coat." I know, it is the shirt. Komaeda Nagito helplessly said. In other words, the person that escaped from the window just now from behind him, in fact, is the person this group of black-clothed people want to capture. That person must have conveniently put the tracking device on him when he passed by. Thinking this, Komaeda Nagito indeed remembers the other party wearing a white shirt similar to him. After all, if the appearance of the shirt changes too much, an idiot would also understand that it's fake. Actually, because of wearing a similar shirt to be involved in this kind of event, he really is unfortunate. However, this also makes him excited for what the upcoming luck will bring. Komaeda Nagito put down his chopsticks, raised his hand to surrender, attempting to explain a little. "It's a misunderstanding, I'm not the guy you want, he must have put the tracking device on me just now. It's so clearly framed, you should not see it, right?" Although it was an explanation, but Komaeda Nagito's are like sarcastic words, and under such a situation he is still able to calmly respond, making the black-clothed man even more determined in his thoughts. "Speak less." The black-clothed man steadily raised his gun. "Even if there is no tracking device, I can also see with a glance that you are the most suspicious." A tone that sounded very interested, suddenly sounded from behind the black-clothed man. "Oh. How did you see it?" Of course, the black-clothed man spoke halfway, suddenly realizing that this voice was not right. Dazai-sama." Komaeda Nagito followed the sound and looked over. Author's note. Because this world does not have Hope's Peak student, so Komaeda can only rely on his own judgment to determine whether the other party has talent or sparkling of Hope 2333, laughing slang. Overall speaking, currently Komaeda is a fusion of the junior high version of himself. His worldview suddenly changed to an unclear worldview, so he has recovered a bit to normal, but his nature cannot be changed. Along with, the committee meeting was real, it comes from the novel.